Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Parlay Show. Rob Conway here, joined alongside, of course, Albert Vartanian. And now joining us to talk a little F1, the Monaco Grand Prix is Sara Poraria. Sarah, first off, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yes. Someone that loves talking F1, it's Poraria. Every time. Can we talk F1? Can we talk F1? Now we're here.
There you
Monaco,
go.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch the Netflix doc. I'm not an F1 gearhead, if that's even a term in the F1. But I used to watch it a lot. Back in the day, it was Jacques Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill. But then I was older and I don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, so I stopped watching it. But the Monaco Grand Prix, I do know, has some of the best cachet on the circuit right out of the gate. Why is that? Other than the awesomeness of Monaco.
It's one of the oldest races, first of all.
Yeah.
It's like one of the oldest existing tracks besides Monza. So I think the history's there. We've seen Niki Lauda win there. We've seen Alain Prost. Schumacher, like you mentioned, Daniel Ricciardo as of recently. There's so many big names. Ayrton Senna, who's won the most. But it's also the wealth that comes with it. Monaco is known to be the bougie race, the class, like everything that, kind of resembles fame and fortune and what a celebrity is. That's Monaco. So there's a lot, like for the average person, we're like, it's just sparkles.
I watch two races every single year. It's Monaco and it's Montreal, because being in Canada, I went to that Montreal race one time. It was so much fun.
Crazy.
Who won that one? Was it Red Bull? I think it was Red Bull, but it was all Ferrari fans.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Not much Red Bull. And the thing with Monaco as well, visually, it's beautiful to look at, right? And it's so historic. But anyway, enough of that. I was looking at some of the constructors' odds for this season. Why are you laughing? Because I was saying conductor earlier. Not conductor odds, constructor odds. Yeah. I put my conductor hat on when I bet 99. I started looking at these odds, and I noticed you can't even bet Red Bull at the moment, I guess because they're such big favorites. But behind them, you have Aston Martin plus 3,900. So before we get into why you're going to tell me I should bet Aston Martin and win at those big odds, is it Red Bull's season to lose?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we saw what happened with Verstappen last year, absolutely smashed it. And now Checo's really coming into form this year. He's winning races, and he's really actually challenging Verstappen. He's only 14 points behind his teammate. If he wins in Monaco, like he did last year, this year, he'll overtake Verstappen in first place. So I think right now it's the two drivers at Red Bull are not only doing well, but they're challenging each other. So they both really want to win.
Yeah, so Red Bull, they've won every single race this year.
Yeah.
Has there been a team that's dominated this way in recent memory?
Yeah, Mercedes with Lewis Hamilton until not the last 2 years. Besides that, the 6 years before, it was all Mercedes. It's normal. Before that, Ferrari. Like it happens in Formula One where there's just one constructor that's so much more dominant. The car is just so much better. But that's the thing. If you put any of these drivers in that Red Bull car, they're probably going to podium no matter what.
Now, again, years ago, you have Michael Schumacher, number one at Ferrari. No one, like, if I remember correctly, and maybe I'm misremembering, but no one, the other Ferrari, whoever the secondary driver was, they didn't pass him. It was if they were first and second, then he would go on to win. If not, even let him go past. They don't do that anymore, like, because they've gone back and forth with Perez and Verstappen, back and forth through all the first 5 or 6 races.
Well, I think what's happening with Red Bull is that they're seeing how good of a racer is Checo, because last year there was this whole debacle in Brazil where Verstappen wouldn't let Checo pass him, and he told his engineer over, in his microphone or whatever, he basically said, I told you guys last summer that this is not what I'm going to be doing. You knew that. This is not how I'm racing. And basically said, I'm your number one driver. Checo's not getting passed. So there is also like a rivalry within the teams. But I think it's just now because Checo's doing so well and racing so well that you see it even more.
So who's the biggest threat to Red Bull this season?
Has to be Aston Martin with the way Fernando Alonso is driving. Finally back in a good car. 20th year in the formula. He's so good. He's so experienced. And I think people often forget how good of a racer he has been throughout the years. He's won in Monaco twice. And he's just so strategic. I think mentally, like his IQ for the Formula One racing, he's the best on the grid without a doubt. Like he's just so smart when it comes to driving. And I'm actually really happy to see like someone giving Red Bull a bit of a run for their money, because we know Ferrari, Mercedes recently a little not great.
Yeah, I mean, and those are the kind of the classic names, definitely from a couple decades ago. But a guy I was looking at, just because of the fact that he's from Monaco, Charles Leclerc, is the third favorite at I think plus 360 to win this. Obviously, just from a narrative perspective, it's in Monaco. To have somebody who's from there to win. But is he really the third best driver? It doesn't sound that way, but is it really more just the idea that it's a home track for him from where he's from, that maybe that's why his odds are a little bit lower than you'd expect?
Maybe, and also because of the fact that he's actually never won this race. Mm-hmm. He only crossed the checkered flag last year for the first time, crashing out before in qualifying. He's never finished the race until last year, but this race is so important. I would actually bet on Leclerc in this race because my thought is that lightning cannot strike twice. This guy has gone through so much with Ferrari. The mistake that happened last year when they told him to box, then they told him to stay out. The engineer screwed up his whole race, but this means so much to him. I honestly think he knows he can't not podium here. I don't know if he's going to win it, but I would say Leclerc to podium, it has to be. After 5-6 years now, he's not been able to finish. Come on.
So the man behind you, Verstappen, is favored on Bet99 plus 114. But you were just talking about how good Checo's been.
Yeah.
At plus 330, is that worth a look?
Well, I mean, Checo won it last year, and we saw how well he races. I also think Checo is a better street driver. So this is obviously a circuit that's in the streets. It's not like an actual track. And he's done really well on, the street grid. So, I mean, I don't know. If the value is more so with Checo, it's not a bad bet at all because he has that grit to him almost that I feel will do better at a place like Monaco.
Okay, so it's expected to rain during this race. So how does it affect the race, and who are you looking at that can capitalize on bad weather?
When it rains, Fernando Alonso is your man. This guy does
plus 460.
That's okay, and the value's there. This is the best driver in rain, I think, in the formula right now and prior, even when the grid lineup was different. He's so successful in the rain. He's almost, I think, prefers it in the rain because he does so well where other drivers really struggle. But I think for him, I think if it's raining, which right now on Sunday it looks like it's going to, I would put money on Fernando. And guess what? There's been 5 races this season. He's podiumed 4 out of those 5 races. So, I mean, how can you not? This guy's incredible.
You're speaking my language here
there
right
you
now.
go.
I love this.
And you're looking at, some of the odds, you can bet top 3, top 5, top 10, just guaranteed points or whatever. And Lewis Hamilton is way, 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 way down. Mm-hmm. And obviously we know his struggles. It was not too long ago that he was dominating this Formula One circuit. What is the biggest issue right now for him? Is it him or the car? I'm assuming it's the car.
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah?
Right now, George Russell is one of the best young drivers out there right now. And I think Mercedes are struggling a little bit with figuring out who their priority driver is. Because right now I think it should be George Russell. But Lewis Hamilton, having the ego that he has, I think is having trouble giving that up. As well as just Mercedes not being completely up to date with their car as Red Bull are. But what's interesting is that because last week the Emiliano Romano race was canceled, Mercedes updated their car slightly, which no one ever does before Monaco because Monaco is known for crashes. You will run into the wall. It is so unforgiving because it's so narrow that there's a lot of questions about how Mercedes drivers are going to race because they just updated their car. If they crash, it's going to cost them thousands and millions of dollars that they might actually be driving potentially a little bit more cautiously because they know that they have to try and maintain that car. So I'm actually really curious to watch those too because I don't know. We're going to see a lot of crashes for sure.
We have time for one more question?
Yeah, we go. Yeah.
Just some Canadian content. Lance Stroll. Plus
your favorite.
8,900 to win. I know it's crazy. He hasn't had the greatest season.
Yeah.
What do you expect from him at Monaco?
I mean, listen, he's been racing really well too under Aston Martin and with a guy like Fernando Alonso as a mentor. I think it's great for Lance Stroll. Will he podium? I doubt it. But I mean, for him to get points, maybe top 7 finish, I think it's totally doable. He's done really well this season. He's been getting points. Aston Martin is right now second behind Red Bull in the constructors. So I definitely think we'll see him up there. I'd say maybe around 6-7, but it's a possibility. Listen, Monaco's crazy. You don't know what's going to happen. That first corner, you could lose 3 cars right there. So it's just nuts. But that's why we love it.
Yeah.
Minus 115, top 6 for Lance Stroll. By the way.
Exactly.
For the casual like myself, with the Kentucky Derby, for example, it's all the pageantry that goes around it. Everyone dresses up like it's the 1920s, and they have their cocktails, and they have a great time. What's the best part about Monaco off the track?
The yacht.
The yachts. It's
Has
yacht
to
week.
be. It's yacht week. No, the amount there was a photo going around on Monday on social media that was taken up the hill in Monaco, and it was just like 50 or 60 yachts coming in, and they're like, "How do you know it's the Grand Prix weekend without saying it's the Grand Prix weekend? It's the yacht."
What's a ticket like to that? To
Oh
watch
no,
that? Is
you
it
know,
crazy?
it's insane.
I know that's on the bucket list, but it might be too much dinero.
The best is also all the apartment buildings, just their balconies stuffed with
I know.
people looking out. Like, yeah, that's the
That's
coolest,
the coolest
I think.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a unique place and a unique opportunity to watch something that's so. Look, this is a global sport, and there's some massive races. But like you say, to be just on a balcony looking over, we had a picture up earlier, like just right on top of it. It's got to be to feel the power as well of those cars.
Yeah.
Is unbelievable. Well, thank you very much, Sara Poraria,
Yeah,
for
thank you.
giving us a little update here on the Monaco GP this weekend in Monte Carlo. Thank you very much.
I have so much to bet.
Yes, so many opportunities at Bet99. You can get the outrights. You can get the Conductors Award, and so on and so forth. All right, coming up next, we're talking French Open with Karina Mustafa.